Wow. Thank you, Dr. Daughtry, Chairman Carpenter, and the board, faculty, and all the families gathered here today to mark the graduation of the Montgomery Bell Academy class of 2024. To the seniors, you did it. Take a minute, look around, take it all in. A chapter in your life is closing. A new one is about to begin. Many years ago, more than I would like to admit, I sat where you are. And before that, I sat through 5 MBA graduations and 5 graduation speakers. But when Dr. Daughtry invited me to give this year's commencement address, I will admit I was honored, and I was also absolutely terrified. This is the first graduation speech that I have ever given, and given how I do tonight, it might be the last. But I had some ideas. I went to a friend of mine, and I knew she had given a few commencement speeches. So I asked her, what do you recommend? What's your advice? She said, there are 2 things. She said, the first was no one ever asked for a longer commencement speech. So keep it short. We've got more important things to do. And I will do my best. I was on the debate team here. I'm a journalist. I like words. I like to talk. But I'll try. Her second piece of advice was to find that one thing, to find a thing, a theme, that you want the graduating seniors to take away. What is that one thing? Boil it down from their entire college or high school career. So what's that one thing? Now, I could tell you a lot of cliches, right? There are lots of cliches about commencement addresses. I could say that you should go far, do the unexpected, and I could tell you stories. I could tell you about how the year after college, I went to teach English in rural Austria, a little town, middle of the country. And during that year, I watched a man get married to a tree in the middle of the town square by a priest. True story. I could tell you to take risks, but then I would have to tell you the story about how after graduate school, I was trying to figure out what to do, but I had a really good job living in Chicago, but I quit, left everything, followed my girlfriend to New York City, right in the middle of a recession. And I struggled to find work, and I eventually found a job at a struggling .com tech company. The only virtue was that it shared the name with what we'll call a gentleman's club nearby. And one of my jobs was every couple of days, I had to take all the mail that came to them accidentally, or came to us accidentally, it was for them, and I had to take it over to the gentleman's club. Fine moments, let me tell you. Also, my girlfriend and I broke up, so maybe don't take risks. I do take risks, just don't take the ones I took. But I'm not going to give you cliches because there's something more important that I want to tell you. And I want you, seniors, again, to take another look around. Look at each other. Look at your friends, your classmates. And I want you to take one thing away. If there's one thing that I want you to take away from my speech, if there's one thing that I want you to take away from your time at MBA, is that you're going to go on to do great things. And if you're lucky, you'll do amazing things. You'll go to amazing places. You'll meet amazing people. You'll have rich lives. But if you're really lucky, these people right here that you're sitting with will remain your best friends forever. I've been told that people like stories. And when you give a speech, tell a story. So here's a story. I came to MBA with very few friends, almost none. I was a blank slate. I was born in upstate New York. We moved around a lot when I was a kid. Came to Nashville, went to a bunch of different elementary schools. And look, I'm 47, I have no pride, I will tell you. I was not one of the cool kids in elementary school. I didn't play a lot of sports. I like to read. I mean, I really like to read. I like Star Wars. I like to read books about Star Wars. I like video games. And this was all before nerdy stuff was cool. I don't know what's cool these days, but I've been told that it's actually okay to like video games now. None of this served me well, and so I got picked on. This is not a sob story. The point is that I came to MBA and I found something very different. I found my people, right? Turned out that there were other boys like me. There were other boys who liked to read, other boys who didn't necessarily play sports, other boys that just wanted to play Magic, the Gathering after school. And there were other boys who wanted more than anything else in life to go down after lunch and splash each other with rocks in the creek. I don't know if that's something you do. I think the statute of limitations is up on demerit, so I can admit now that that's something I did out of the watchful eyes of the teachers. But the point is that I made friends, a lot of friends. And even the people that I wasn't necessarily friends with, I had respect for, and they had respect for me. And we bonded. We bonded over all sorts of things. We bonded over just being boys. We bonded over MBA's insanely tough curriculum. We bonded over surprise themes, double period chemistry labs, AP art history. Now, I took away a lot from MBA. I used my writing skills every day. I used my debate skills. I even used my math skills. It's only when I'm helping my daughter with the quadratic equation. But what really sticks with me is these friendships that came out of that time. My friendships at MBA gave me the license to do things outside of school, in school, outside of the rules that dictate what we should and should not do in life. I remember trying to sneak into bars downtown, back before downtown was taken over by tourists. I remember staying out long past curfew, sitting in a sticky leatherette booth in the West Nashville Waffle House, guzzling coffee, talking about nothing, everything. It was the most natural thing in the world. But something that I've learned over the years since is that there's something about MBA that made those relationships particularly strong. Maybe it's that it's an all-boys school. Maybe it's that intense curriculum. Maybe it's the faculty who treat you like colleagues as well as students, who respect you and look forward to the day when they will see you as a fellow adult. I took 2 years of English with Haywood Moxley, and he and his wife Margaret remain two of my best friends in the world. Whatever it was, those friendships that I developed, they meant the world to me. And I thought that my time at MBA would never end. But then came graduation. Then came my day of sitting where you are. And we went our separate ways. The other day I was watching Stand By Me with my kids, and at the end they split up, and Richard Dreyfuss's voiceover, he talks about how they all went in different directions after high school. And I thought that's kind of how it was. That really nailed that experience. Things get tricky. The fact is, I'm here to report from the vast beyond of middle age that adults don't value friendship the way they should. I mean, you have friends, but a 2021 study by the American Enterprise Institute found a crisis in close friendships among American adults, especially among American men. About half of the people in the survey said they had 3 or fewer good friends, people they could sit and talk to, not just friends at work, but people that they felt a connection to. 15% said they had none at all. You see, one thing you will realize once you leave MBA is that friendship is a fragile thing. You'll go to different schools. You'll make other friends. You'll get married. You'll get a job. You'll have children. And if you're lucky, those children will become your new best friends. And it seems impossible, right? Here you are at the pinnacle of your high school career, and all of that will recede into the past. And the friendships that you have right now, the ones that seem like they will go on forever, well, they might not. Maybe they will. But I'm here to tell you that you have to work at it. You have to work at friendship. You have to make the phone calls. You have to keep the text chains going. You have to go out of your way to visit, to see your friends, to go to reunions, to have your own reunions. And even then, keeping those old friendships, it's not a guarantee. When I got out of college, when I got to college, I met a lot of people who did not have great high school experiences, who did not make many lasting friendships, who yearned to get away as far away as possible. Me, I spent 3 years in college living with one of my high school best friends. After college, I moved in with another one in Chicago, and we all settled down, but we kept in touch. We were actually texting just before this. I won't tell you what they said. Boy stuff. But we make the effort. And I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you that this is what you need to do. I spent a week on a boat once, traveling up a river in the Amazon with a friend of mine from MBA, wondering, wait, this, how did I get here? He's an ichthyologist, which, by the way, if you wonder where, parents, if you're wondering where your tuition dollars went, MBA produces ichthyologists. Which I just like saying that. I like saying that one of my friends, an MBA graduate, is an ichthyologist. 2 weeks ago, one of my best friends, who now lives in Toronto, came to visit me. He was in town for business. He could have stayed at a hotel, but instead he stayed at my house so that we could stay up until 3 or 4 in the morning talking, catching up. Last night, I had dinner with another friend from MBA. Again, these are just examples of the work that you need to do to keep those friendships. And it's worth asking. You may be wondering, well, why is it worth it? I have other things to do in life. But I'm here to tell you that those friendships that you make in high school, there's never going to be anything like it. You'll have other friends, but you'll never have friends like these. You need to cherish that. Because those experiences, that bedrock of friendship that you have built, that you have achieved here at MBA while you were doing your themes and labs and tests and exams, that bedrock is going to be what makes you into a man. It teaches you to cherish not just friendships, but your capacity for friendship. And that's something that you should never lose sight of. And it's easy as an adult to lose that. And there's so many reasons why friendship matters, but I'm going to highlight 2. The first is simply that humans, as humans, are gregarious. We need other people. We need their emotional support. We need them so we can let off steam. We need them to remember ourselves. C.S. Lewis said, if we are to know anything, even ourselves, we need friends. And what friends are you going to have who know you better than the friends that you made in high school? And yet, too often as adults, we don't know anyone else. Not really. And as a result, we don't know ourselves. You know, as an obituaries reporter, I write about people's lives. I write miniature biographies. And in print, I tell the official story about why these people mattered, what they achieved, what their legacy will be. But along the way, I pick up other things. the soft tissue of life that doesn't make it into the obituary, but is just as important, if not more. The stuff that actually matters. Was he a good father? Was she a good wife? Was he a good citizen? A good friend? That's what matters. And the second reason why friendship is so important is that it makes us good. It gives us virtue. You know, I was worried I would be the only person who quoted Cicero tonight. Fortunately, I should have thought better. I'm coming to MBA. There's going to be a lot of Cicero. Cicero said that friendship is given to us by nature not to favor vice, but to aid virtue. And of course, I'm not going to argue with Cicero. He is absolutely right. And I know that I am a better person because of the friendships that I made at MBA. I know that those friendships lie at the corner not just of who I am, but of who I want to be. Friendship teaches us values. How can we learn values unless we interact with other people on a deep level? When we see values in other people, we see our friends express values, and we learn from that, and it shows us how to be better. It teaches us respect. You cannot have friends unless you respect them, and vice versa. Friendship is the baseline for how you will conduct every other relationship in your life. It already is. But as you go through life and you develop other complex relationships, friendship will define how you carry those out. At work, with your spouse, with your children, with your community. Someone who is a good friend will be a good husband, a good father, a good employee, a good boss, a good citizen. And years from now, after you have all settled into your careers, I suspect, that some of you will say, I am so grateful to MBA for teaching me to be a good writer, to write a good theme, to know how to diagram a sentence. You will, I promise. Diagramming is awesome. And others of you, maybe you'll become computer engineers or math teachers, and you'll say, I'm so glad that MBA gave me such a thorough education in math, science, history, and run down the list. MBA taught you these things. But I expect, just given my experience, and the life that I've been able to lead so far, I suspect that all of you, at some point in your life, hopefully even tonight, all of you will say, I'm grateful to MBA for teaching me how to be a good friend. Thank you.